Hello everyone and welcome back to Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel to the End. This is episode 3 of our Let's Learning Yu-Gi-Oh! Last episode we did special summoning and we started a bit on fusion summoning. Today I want to go more into fusion summoning. That's right, we're graduating from Yu-Gi-Oh! To Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Give yourself a round of applause. I've actually recorded this video 3 times, so we're going to try and blitz through whilst being as calm and concise as possible. Fusion decks. Fusion decks are one of my favourites. They're a favourite of my friend JakeyRLX, and it's because of this series, Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. It's the one that we grew up with as kids. If you're in your 20s, this is the one that you know maybe the best. You might also know 5Ds, which we'll obviously cover later. That's synchro summoning. Don't need to know right now. Let's stay clear and concise. So the hero deck revolves solely around hero monsters. These 4 vanillas were really the first ones to show up, and they really took my heart. The art on them, I really like. I liked how cool Best-Cinetrix looked. I thought Avion was lame because I don't know, I didn't like birds. Sparkman was the coolest because he was kind of like Iron Man. Clayman was dope. That's all I gotta say about that. I really just wanted to play with some heroes. The deck, the way it works, was unique at the time. It's not unique now. Each of the fusion monsters requires the specific materials. So, for instance, we got Element Hero, Sparkman, and Blade Edge. On this one, we have Best-Cinetrix and Avion. If we go into the extra deck specifically for heroes, right here, you'll see that there's actually an insane number of combinations for these hero monsters. Right here we've got Bubbleman and Avion, we've got Best-Cinetrix and Bubbleman, Clayman and Bubbleman. A lot of Bubbleman involved there. Wild Heart and Avion, you know, the works. And that was kind of like the unique gimmick, is that each one of the hero monsters fused with another hero monster to create a unique card. It was very cool. It's a very simple deck to play. I would recommend if it was your first time playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And you wanted to do a fusion deck, I would recommend heroes pretty much every time. Heroes or Gem Knights, which are basically heroes but reskinned. It's quite good. Right, we're going to go for explaining. Quick, simple, easy, concise. A lot of these cards, because they're extremely old, do not have very complicated effects, which is what we want. We want this to be super easy to understand. So we're just going to go through our own pace and explain. The vanilla monsters themselves are nothing special, other than their designs, their attacks. You would never really want to summon any of these cards, except for maybe Clayman in face down defense. That's the only time you would summon. Neos is a later addition to this deck, but he is fantastic. He is a normal monster, level 7, so that requires 2 tributes. And he's used in a lot of fusions, and he's very easy to get out. There's a lot of support for him. Let's move on to some of the effect monsters. We've got Element Hero Wild Heart, who's unaffected by trap cards, which is great. Back a day, trap cards would be a big killer. You'd have things like the Armor card, which I can't pronounce, but I'm going to put it right here. That would destroy monsters. It was a horror on the playground, that's for sure. An Element Hero Wild Heart would really deal with that quite well because he'd be unaffected. Next we've got Bubbleman. And it's time for a rant. Bubbleman was one of my favourite designed cards. He looked like Batman, but a bit more fun. I liked the blue. I thought the blue was a nice colour. And he's got maybe one of the worst effects of any Yu-Gi-Oh card I've ever seen in my life. Let's get into it. If this card is the only card in your hand, keep that in mind. No card in your hand other than this card. You can special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summoned, you can draw 2 cards. You must control Nova cards to activate this effect. So, if it's the only card in your hand, you can special summon him. That's good, that's nice. He's summoned, I guess. I guess that's fine. It doesn't really matter when you've got Polymerization, which activates from the hand. But whatever. But then, if you have no cards on field, you get to draw 2 cards. So picture this. This is the situation you have to be in. You have to have no cards in your hand, no cards on the field, which means you're having a bad game. Everything's been wiped from you. Your entire field is gone. You draw this card. This is your only card. Then you can special summon it and draw 2 cards. Like, it can come in clutch. In the anime, it came in clutch a lot. That's because the writers would cheat and put the cards that they wanted to draw in. It might be one of the worst cards ever made. And, get this, it has an evolution, Neo Bubble Man, which is worse. I'm putting it on screen. Feel free to pause it and let me know what you think in the comments below. You look and scrub. Next we got Elemental Hero Necroshade. Necroshade's a level 5, so he's not normal summonable. But when he's in the graveyard, a level 5 or higher Elemental Hero normal monster can be normal summoned without tributing. So that's specifically for this deck. That's Neos. Fantastic. Getting a Neos off essentially a normal summon, no tributes, is fantastic. I love Necroshade. Next we have Elemental Hero Blazeman, who's got a lot of text. Listen, I know it's a lot of text, but we can get through this. If this card is normal summoned, you can add a Polymerization to your hand. Nice. During your main phase, you can activate the effect. You cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except for fusion monsters. You can also send one elemental hero monster from your deck to the graveyard except this card, and if you do, its attack and defense becomes the same as well as its attribute. If this card is sent to the graveyard until the end of this turn, you can only use one elemental hero Blazeman once per turn. Blazeman's a great card. Being able to pull a Polymerization in a fusion deck is just amazing in and of itself, as well as graveyard setup. So the attribute change and the attack, it doesn't really matter too much. There's not many cards in Heroes specifically that require like a wind monster. It'll usually say the hero's name rather than a wind monster or anything. But still a fantastic card. He's great in other decks as well that like use heroes like evil heroes or Destiny heroes, which I can't see a single Destiny hero on my screen right now to click him. There's one, Destiny heroes, because they require things like dark monsters specifically. So great card. For this is mainly going to be used to get Polymerization and to send Neos to the graveyard. Next, Neo Space Connector. So when this card is normal summoned, you can special summon a Neospatian monster or elemental hero Neos from your hand or deck in defense position. You can tribute this card, then target a Neospatian or elemental hero Neos in your graveyard. Special summon in defense position. You can only use the effect once per turn. Each effect once per turn, I should say. Extremely good card. You don't have to worry about Neospatians. We will get into them in another episode because they've got their own special thing going on, and it's a weird one. But it's great. This is a great way to get out Neos twice in one turn. If you've got graveyard set, for instance, if you had Blazeman, previously send him to the graveyard, then that means you can summon one from the deck and graveyard in one turn. Two for the price of one. It's just great. Elemental Hero Prisma. Prisma is a very unique card. Once per turn, you can reveal a fusion monster from your extra deck. Send one of the fusion materials whose name is listed specifically from your deck to the graveyard. This card becomes that card until the end of the turn. So let's put ourselves in a situation here where I have Prisma on field and I have Avion in my hand and I want to summon Wingman. What I would do is I would reveal Wingman, who's got Burstinatrix, send Burstinatrix to the graveyard, and then he becomes Burstinatrix. So when I fusion summon, I can use him instead of Burstinatrix to make Wingman. Pretty simple. Next we're going to Elemental Hero Liquid Soldier. So if this card is normal summon, you can target a level 4 or lower hero monster in your graveyard except this card. Special summon it. If this card is used as fusion material for a hero monster and sent to the graveyard or banished, you can draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card. You can use the effect once per turn. Absolutely stellar. You can summon a card from the graveyard, use him for a fusion material, draw 2 cards, and then send something to the graveyard. Which graveyard setup for this isn't ridiculously important, but it is super helpful. Getting a Neos in the graveyard for Connector is great. Getting any cards in the graveyard for this card, which we'll touch on literally in a second, is also great. So let's move on so we can touch on why graveyard setup's good. Elemental Hero Blade Edge is our final effect monster. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to that opponent. Standard. So piercing damage, back a day when this card came out, which was when I was like 10. Piercing damage was insanely good. I think it's called Trample in Magic. It's essentially if let's use Blade Edge as an example. If Blade Edge was to run into a monster that was in defense position and he had 1,800 defense, Blade Edge would do 800 damage to the opponent because of the difference between his attack and their defense. It seems complicated, I promise you it's not. Once you see it once, you'll understand forever. But that's great. Let's go on to the spell cards extremely quickly. We have got a new type of spell card to show you. But we'll get into that. First, we'll start with Polymerization, because we saw it last time. Fusion summon a monster from the extract using materials from your hand and field as fusion materials. Super simple. We love it. We need it. We run 3 in this deck because we're constantly fusion summoning. Next, we have Miracle Fusion. I can fusion summon a hero monster from my extract by banishing fusion materials listed on it from my side of the field or the graveyard. So the great thing about banishing from our side of the field or the graveyard is with all our graveyard setup that we have in this deck, the amount of materials that we have are not limited. We can get out pretty much any card. And for instance, this card right here, Liquid Soldier, he, on getting banished, will draw 2 cards, which is absolutely amazing. He can only do that once, I'm pretty sure, but still very good. Next we have Miracle Contact. So I can shuffle into the deck from hand, field, or graveyard the fusion materials that list Elemental Hero fusion monsters that list Neos as fusion material. Then special summon that fusion monster from your deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. I feel like that's worded very bad, or I'm reading it very bad, which is both is fine. Essentially, any of these cards from my hand, field, or graveyard, I can send into the deck, shuffle them back in, to bring out Elemental Hero Brave Neos. He's really the only Neos card we have here, so that'd be the only one we'll summon. Very useful card. It allows us to get a summon from literally anywhere. It's a great comeback. I can't think of anything else I'd rather have. And finally, we have a new type of card, a Field Spell. A Field Spell is a spell that you set down in your field zone, and it just kind of stays there. It stays there until it's destroyed or until you play a new one. It's very good. They're very good. Most decks have a Field Spell, and they're great to run. So this one is called Skyscraper. When an elemental hero monster attacks, if its attack is lower than the attack of the target, the attacking monster gains 1000 attack during the calculation only. It's quite simple, it's quite easy. You know, you gain 1000 attack if your attack is lower than your opponent's monster, which I think is pretty good. I've got no complaints with it. There is an evolved version of this called, I'm not sure if it's in this game, Hero City, I think it's called. Skyscraper 2 Hero City. It's an evolved version, but we're just trying to keep it simple for now, so we're just sticking to that. Alright, now let's get complicated, shall we? Fusion monsters. So these fusion monsters specifically need extremely specific fusion material. So Flame Wingman requires an Avian and a Burstinatrix. And when he's summoned and destroys an opponent's destroys a monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you inflict damage to your opponent equal to that destroys monster's attack. Amazing. Great. You destroy a monster whose attack is 1500, your opponent is taking 1500 burn. Who can ask for more? Does he look like a hero? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It's still great. Next we have Shining Flare Wingman. So this requires a Flame Wingman and a Sparkman. He's basically the evolved version of Flame Wingman, which I love personally. I think it's very cool to have an evolved version. And his effect is must be fusion summoned. This card gains 300 attack for each elemental hero monster in the graveyard. When it destroys an opponent's monster by battle, inflict damage to opponent equal to the attack of the destroyed monster. So it's just a boost in attack, really, added on to Flame Wingman's normal effect, which is already great. Right, next we're going to go to Elemental Hero Core. He kind of looks like a JoJo stand or a Transformer. I'll take either or. He's obviously got the famous Konami orbs. So this requires just 3 Elemental Hero monsters, so not as specific, but still kind of nice. Once per turn, when this card is targeted for an attack, you can make this attack become double its current attack until the end of the damage step. At the end of the battle phase, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can target one monster on the field, destroy it. When this card is destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can target a level 8 or lower Element Hero fusion monster in your graveyard to summon it, ignoring summon conditions. Core is just great. If I have Core on field, I know I'm pretty much winning. In like this format at least. You know, he has a boost in attack, he can double his attack, he can destroy a card, and if he's destroyed, he can summon pretty much any of these monsters. Because level 8 or lower, the only one he can't is Electrum, but that's fine. It's rare we'll get Electrum out anyway. Let's move on to Element Hero Grand Merge. So Grand Merge requires 2 normal hero monsters, and it must be fusion summoned. It gains attack and defense equal to the combined levels of the materials used for its fusion summon, times 300. So you can use multiple monsters, I think, but I'm not entirely sure. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can tribute this card, special summon one Element Hero fusion monster from your X deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. But it cannot attack monsters with equal or lower level than it. So, you know, a bit more confusing there, but still it's a gain of attack. When it destroys a monster, I can tribute it to summon an Element Hero fusion monster from my extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. Which is great. I could get out an Electrum, but then he wouldn't be able to attack anything less than a 10, which would suck. But still, it's an option. We have Element Hero Brave Neos next. It must be fusion summoned. It gains 100 attack for each Neos patient and hero monster in the graveyard. When this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can add a spell trap from your deck to your hand that specifically lists Element Hero Neos in its text. Yeah, great card. I think a lot of these are self-explanatory. I can add a spell trap from a deck that lists Neos. That'd be Miracle Contact. Sorry. What can I say? He's great. Element Hero Sunrise. Sunrise is a newer card. I think it came out in the past like 5 years. Must be fusion summoned. Gain 200 for each different attribute you control. There's a lot of different attributes in this, ranging from, you know, fire, wind, light, earth, water, dark. You know, that's pretty much all of them. Light. Light's the last one. That's pretty much all the attributes in the game. You can use the following effect once per turn. If this card is special summoned, add a Miracle Fusion from your deck to your hand. When an attack is declared involving a hero monster you control, target one monster on the field, destroy it. He's a great all-round card. The fact that you can get out a Miracle Fusion is great, which means you can fusion summon him on your turn because his summoning condition is so easy, and then use a Miracle Summon to summon another card using cards from your graveyard. Stellar 10/10. Next we have Element Hero Vice Plasma. He requires a Sparkman and a Blade Edge. It's these two right here. Going back. Must be fusion summoned, cannot be special summoned any other way. If this card affects a defense vision monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent, you can discard one card, target a tap vision monster your opponent controls, destroy that target. Discarding is great. As I've said, we really like the graveyard being used in this deck. So, and the destruction is just, it's all 10/10. I love this card. Got great attack, its levels are nice, it looks cool. What more did it say? I just wanted to throw him in. There's loads of options. With heroes, you can run pretty much whatever you want. Next we have Element Hero Electrum. So this one's a tough one to summon. You need an Avion, a Burst Cinetrix, a Clayman, and a Bubble Man. And if you get all those, wall face up on the field, this card is also wind, fire, and earth attribute, and water, sorry. Which is crazy. When this card is fusion summoned, shuffle all banished cards into the deck. This card gains 300 attack for each monster your opponent controls that shares the attribute with this card. It's a crazy card. Is it really that good? Maybe not. But the art is so crazy. Look at it. What the hell? Who drew this? Who drew this? Is this meant to be a human's anatomy? I don't understand. He's like snatched. This top half of the character here looks like an entirely different character to the bottom half. Why has he got the bulge? Why is it so low down? Everything about this card confuses me, and I love it so much. Alright, I've been yapping. I'm hoping you understand the deck a bit more. We're going to go into a duel straight away, I think. A quick duel right now. We've just won these NPCs right here. I mean, these NPCs are level 45. They're nothing to shove at, really. They'll get you through bronze. I think they probably go as well as a bronze player would. Okay, we're going second, so let's have a good look at our hand. Though the bots in this game go well. Wow, great cards. I think I'm going to use Blazeman fast. Wow, yeah, all this is great. We're going to summon Blazeman. We're going to use his effect to add a polymerization. And then we're going to polymerize. Sunshine again. We're going to get rid of him and Necroshade. Summon Sunrise. Just like that. Lovely stuff. He's going to give us a Miracle Fusion. We're not going to use it straight away. We're going to wait to get a few more cards in our hands before we continue to summon more and more. Right, and we're going to end our turn. That's quite good. I mean, Sunrise is a fantastic card. He's so easy to summon as well. It's just great. Ooh, okay. Let's see. What do I want to do here? I think I'm going to summon Neospace Connector. I'm going to use its effect to summon a Neos in defense. Oh, here we go. Summoning animation. Whoa. He's like Space Superman. Still got the Konami Orb. They have to have it. I feel like it's in the contract. You have to draw every monster with a Konami Orb. Okay. We're going to hit a good old-fashioned fusion summon to make Brave Neos by getting rid of you and you right here. There we go, Brave Neos. And that's the duel 1. That's a duel. Turn 4. No questions asked. There's so much more that we could. There's so much more we could do. Really, we could carry on. We got more cards to summon, but there's no need. Fusion summoning is so versatile. The recovery is great. Everything about fusion summoning is just 10/10 for me. One more duel, and then I think we'll kind of understand it. We're going to focus on fusion summoning a bit more. The longer we go down the line. I think the next episode of Duel to the End is just going to be an entire video of just playing with fusion decks. The hero deck specifically, so I don't have to explain as many cards. And we'll go over something called Contact Fusion, which is fusion without polymerization. It's a bit complicated to understand sometimes, but we can do it, I believe. We're going to activate our field spell, which just sits right there. Then we're going to summon Space Conductor, use this effect, Space Connector, to summon Neos from the deck. We're going to skip past it, we've just seen it. And then we're going to attack this face down. Bad choice. Oh well, what are you going to do? Oh, Tribute Summoning to make... Wow, that's quite the monster. Empress Mantis. Got rid of our Neo straight away. Sag. What should we do here? I think I'm going to set Necroshade by tributing Space Conductor. I'm going to end my turn. Right there and then. I want Necroshade to be destroyed, and then that way I can normal summon Neos. This is the one downside with a fusion deck, is that you need a polymerization to show up. Just like now. We're going to get Sunrise out. We're going to say both Sunshine and Wild Heart. A good reason to get Sunrise out is so we can get a Miracle Fusion, so we can get 2 fusions on board in one turn. We get Miracle Fusion right here. We're going to activate Miracle Fusion. We're going to summon Core by sending 1, 2, 3. I'm going to banish all 3 of them. Summon Core. Right there. And finally, we're going to normal summon our Neos by using the effect of Necroshade. Told you it'd come in handy. No need to see the animation. I've seen it. Okay, great. This is, I mean, I'm pretty sure we've just won this. No questions asked. Right there. We're going to use Sunrise's effect to destroy the face down card. And we're just going to attack directly. That's 3,100 there. 2,900 here. It's absolutely stellar. So, as you can see, I mean, obviously, if it's confusing, I apologize, because this game has gone very quick. Fusion decks are extremely versatile. They're extremely fast as well. There's a lot of chances of recovery. There's a lot of combos to learn. But I think Heroes, the reason I love it the most is because it's actually extremely simple. As long as you've got hero cards and as long as you've got fusion cards, you can make something. Extra decks in the real game, obviously this in Duel Links there's less, but extra decks in the real game go to 15 cards instead of what we got right here, which is 8. So you can have more combinations. You can go even wackier. Obviously you can go meta and then you can use only a few of the cards, but I just love the actual options. When I type in hero and I look at the extra deck, you know, I could summon this guy if I really wanted to. I could special summon this guy in a hero deck, even though he's an evil hero. You know, the Marine. You know, there's so many cards here as well. Which, when I started playing the game, I started playing it on as a kid. I remember having an Element Hero Rampart Blaster. And you know, I thought she was. I thought she was really cool when I saw her in the anime. It's cool. It's just I like that there's so many options and combinations, and like little strategies to do. I think the card art looks cool. I was like a big fan of comic books as a kid. This is the deck that really got me into. Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole. Specifically Clayman and Sparkman. Clayman and Sparkman, they're my goats right there. You know, Vice Plasma, absolutely cool as hell. Thunder Giant, which I don't think I have actually. Hold on, I'll put them on screen. Thunder Giant, which is a fusion between these two cards. Pretty much damn near changed my life. There he is, Thunder Giant. I thought he was so cool. Alright, well, I hope you enjoyed. In any questions, leave them below. Leave a comment, leave a like, leave a subscribe. Do 50 push-ups. Dance like no one's watching. Live, laugh, love. I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.